can we all agree that Belinda needs to crack a biology book? Yeah, I am a nurse. Yeah, you don't need to clap for that shit. I called out of work tonight to be here, so, yeah. Don't worry, though. As all good patients are, they are heavily sedated. So they are going to stay where they are until I get back. But I get asked a lot, people are like, why would you start stand-up when you're already, got this great career as a nurse? And the answer is, I got tired. Tired of killing my patients. Accidentally, I'm not a murderer. And I said, you know what, it's time I start killing people with laughter and not stupidity and my own negligence anymore, I said it's time. But the crazy thing is, even knowing that, some of my friends and family, they still call me all the time with their problems. Like, Steph, I have such and such, what can I do? They call me on the phone and I answer, and they tell me the problem, and I give it about 30 seconds, so they think I'm like racking through all that vast amount of medical knowledge that I have in my big old nursing brain, when in reality, I'm super fast Googling their symptoms so I can give a half-assed correct answer, But most of the time, I say the same thing. I'm like, take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. And you know what? Damn it, they do. Because they realize after the fact that the advice sucked and they are no better than they were before they called me. And I say, you know what? You guys don't understand this. I say, but did you die? Because I think that's the nursing mantra. As long as nobody died, you're good. And they have to say no because they called me. So there's proof that they lived. I said, good. You called me. You're alive. Go on Google. Give me a 5-star review because I saved your life. That's what you got to do. And then, actually, some of that's true, some not. I didn't, if I killed anybody, I wouldn't tell you guys. The truth is, my husband has always said I was funny and I should try stand-up. Now, this is a man that I'm going to keep it clean, that I sleep with on a regular basis, the wifely duties, and I wasn't sure if he was just biased against, my so-called talents, so I didn't listen to him. Instead, I went to one of my patients. Now, because of HIPAA, I can't tell you her name, but I will just go by DOB. Yeah, not date of birth. Dumb old bitch. Because that's what she was. I said, how do you think I would be as a comedian? And she said, honestly, you can't be any worse a comedian than you are a nurse. So I would go for it. And I was shocked. I thought I was a good nurse. She's like, no, you're not. She's like, in fact, I've never said this to anybody before, but please, quit your day job. And I went back, I took her advice. I went back and I tried to tell her I was doing good as a comedian, but found out she died. Yeah. Who laughed, you sick person? But honestly, she was right, because I swear to God, I didn't know she was even sick, 20 years as a nurse, found out how important insulin was to those diabetics. Yeah. Silver lining, people. But I'm glad I'm here tonight. I've been a little depressed lately. I recently turned the big 5-0. Yeah, don't clap now, because that means I'm just, you're clapping for the slow dying process that started. But the thing is, in my mind, I was excited to turn 50, because I was stupid. I was like, I'm going to go from a typical American, running on Duncan, 49-year-old, and wake up the next day, boom, cougar, you know? Yeah, I know, it's funny because it's stupid to think that. But I thought I was gonna wake up, there'd be 25-year-old man boys just coming out everywhere, just doing whatever I told them to do. And 6 months into my 50s, I'm still the same lame ass I was before I turned 50. There's no 25-year-old clouds in the sky. It's raining men does not play anywhere I go. Yeah. But my kids were horrified. They're like, Mom, how could you be excited? Because you're like officially old now. And I'm like, kids, stupid ass kids. I'm like, how did I raise such morons? I'm like, look, I don't look at it as getting old. I look at it as finally being able to have sex with your father and not get pregnant with any of you again. You know? I know, that's me. And honestly, my husband is their father anyway, so, you know, that just makes it a little bit funnier for me. But speaking of kids being jerks, I don't know if those of us that have them, can we agree that there are times that they can really suck? Unless you guys all have perfect kids that you love and they're always awesome, then screw you. But no, I was reminded, I had my 17-year-old and I had a conversation last week and I was excited. I had a comedy show booked every weekend for the month and I was excited. And I said, man, isn't that awesome? And he goes, I guess so, Mom, but I don't even see why people think you're funny, so I don't know why they come to your shows. And I got mad for a minute. I was like, all I wanted to say was, keep it up, man, and all you'll be seeing is my fist in your face. All right, we don't like violence here against our kids? Okay. All right. But I said, no, Steph, you're mature, you're the adult, use your words. So I used a couple 4-letter words, and I felt much better because I'm like a mature mother like that, But he wasn't done. He's like, Mom. He's like, if you're so funny, why is it you only have 2 followers on Instagram? And I'm like, I didn't know this kid had my Instagram. But I said, looked around his room full of stuffed animals, 17, and I said, at least mine are real. Yours are named Mario, Luigi, and all their other stupid little friends, and I know it sounds mean, but I'm like, here I am trying to build my comedy career, and this kid is at the mall right now building a bear. Yeah. So if you see a 17-year-old build a bear, he's not a pervert. He's my kid telling him to get out and get a job, will you? Okay, so I recently got married. You guys don't cut shit. You guys are like, you hate marriage, you hate kids, you hate getting old, you hate everything. But I married, so I am now in an interracial relationship marriage. Don't get mad. And, but I had to learn some harsh truths about myself since I got married. Because for 40 years out of my life, I thought I was Betty friggin' Crocker. You guys are laughing too hard at that, too hard. Turns out, I was a lousy cook. If you guys can believe it. If you guys, I know you're shocked. But, I thought I was... Did you just laugh extra hard? I thought I was kicking ass in the kitchen. When I would take out the chicken from the fridge, slap some barbecue sauce on that bad boy, and just slide it right into the oven. I thought I was done. I was done with that chicken. It was going to take. My kids were always like, "Oh my God, Mom, your chicken is amazing." Poor kids didn't know. They didn't know. I didn't know how good salt and pepper would make a piece of meat taste. It's just salt and pepper. I was like, oh my God. And don't get me started on adobo and Lowry seasoning salt. Holy shit. My life changed because of that. You know, but there was a learning curve. There was a learning curve, people. Maybe you know, I have to warn you, do not use a whole bottle on the chicken. Because people will get sent to the hospital. People will get sent to the hospital. And you know, when I first started dating my husband, I wanted to impress him with my cooking skills. Because I thought I was all that. You know, you couldn't tell me any different, you know? So, it seemed to me like every time I wanted to cook for him, he had some kind of eating disorder. I'd be like, baby, let me cook for you, you know? And he'd have every excuse in the book. He'd be like, no, baby, we just ate, I'm not hungry. And I said, it's 8 a.m. It's breakfast time. The last time you ate was 10 p.m. last night. He's like, oh, baby, I'm good. So that went on for a month. And I'm like, something's wrong with this guy. So one day, it was his birthday, I decided to trap him. Cook for him. I cooked for him. And I surprised him. I told him we were going out to dinner. I made reservations, fake reservations. He came home from work, saw that I had cooked for him, and he was trapped like a rat. Now, he does have a healthy fear of the police. But when I tell you, the look in his eyes told me he would rather be pulled over by 10 Alabama cops than eat the bland-ass meal that he knew he was about to eat. That's what he would rather have done. But he was a good sport. He sat down, took a bite of my famous barbecue chicken. Because I already told you how good I cooked. He took one bite, he picked up the phone, he called his mom. And I was like, oh, shit! He's calling to tell her how damn good my food was. No, that's not what happened. He said, Mom, I'm sending her over. She said, it's okay, baby. The day that you told me you were dating a white girl is the day I knew this would be coming sometime soon. So, yep, off to Newark I went, and I got my education in cooking. So anytime you guys want a meal, I can proudly say I can cook. All right? I have learned your mystical ways. But before I go, I just want to share something. I feel like we are pretty close now, you know. I feel like I have traumatized one of my kids permanently. Last week, because one of them saw me naked. Yeah. It was horrible for him mainly, for him, not me. It was kind of funny. I was drying off. I just got out of the shower. I'm drying off. He barges in the bathroom. Our eyes locked. He screamed. I kind of laughed. And it got real tense. Kind of like in here. Except I'm clothed now, thankfully. And then he ran away. He ran away, man. And then, I don't know what this says about me as a mother, but the first thing I thought was not, oh my God, my kid just saw me naked. My first thought was, thank God, I got that boob job 5 years ago, because now this kid knows his mom doesn't have some saggy ass titties and shit. Because that shit is important when your kid sees you, in case he needs to go on Instagram and vent or something. Then I felt bad for the kid, so I went to his room and I looked down at him. He's laying in the fetal position, sobbing hysterically. And I looked down at him and I said the only thing I could say. I said, listen here, sucker. This is the shit that's going to happen when you live at home with your mommy to your 20 freaking 5. Yeah. So use this memory of me, imprint it in your brain, and use it to motivate you to move the hell out of my house. All right, that's my time.